So map of spirituality is a map to a full consciousness. This is the goal, to return back to your full consciousness. Enlightenment is a little bit old concept, because usually right away it implies certain thoughts about an enlightened teacher, that the teacher must have been this way or that way, they probably used to sit in a cave, you know, they need to have a big beard, you know, it is the usual implication of what is enlightenment. I'm getting there, yes. But my teaching is that you have to get there your own way. Yeah, so you can't, yeah, you don't need a beard, you know. And therefore, there is a way of how every person can return to the full consciousness. Full consciousness means that you have returned. I will put this down. So full consciousness means that you have returned to your fullest and most natural self, beyond the conditioning, beyond the mind. As Buddha called it, he already was speaking about it 2,500 years ago. He was speaking about awakening. Awakening from the mind, from the illusion. Buddha in itself means awakened one. It means the one who is fully awake. Awake from the illusion, from Maya. So the mind, the problem is that the mind creates the illusion. It creates a lot of filters. So it is filtering the reality, and therefore it creates the problems. 90% of the problems are created due to the conditioning of the mind. Even yesterday I saw a beautiful video where the scientists were explaining what causes the problems. So only 1% of your problems are caused due to genetics. You know, we usually blame a lot more. We blame about 30-50% of all problems on genetics. But actually it is only 1% of all diseases and problems are caused due to genetics, even taking the physical body. The rest, 99%, are caused due to the mental, psycho-conscious state. The mental, psycho-spiritual conscious state right away sends the signals to the brain, and it creates the chemistry. It creates the protons and all other chemicals in your body, which then in the sequence affect your organs and your physical health. So over 99% actually of all the problems are created from the very high level of seeing. It is created due to the consciousness, the lack of full consciousness. That affects your mental, emotional, psychological state, which then produces the negative chemical balance inside you. And therefore stress is created, tensions are created, fears are created, and all of that, when it accumulates over the years, is what causes the physical diseases. So this has been already scientifically verified, that your consciousness affects 99% of your reality, not only physically, but emotionally, mentally, psychologically. So therefore, full consciousness is the biggest gift that you can receive, literally in your whole life, because that would solve literally 99% of your problems. There is obviously body already as it is, so everyone already is where you are, and yes, there is already accumulated balance of difficulties and disharmonies. But as you will come to more and more full consciousness, they will be cleansed, you will be purified, your body will be relieved from stresses and tensions and the negative chemical disbalances, which are also detoxifications and so forth. So, coming back to the full consciousness, your emotional state is put into complete equilibrium. Nothing really triggers you, nothing really causes you any emotional turmoils or difficulties. Your mental state is peaceful, tranquil. Your mind is empty, and yet there is a very great degree of sharpness and awareness. So you will attain a very good focus, a very good clarity, and a lot of sharpness in terms of reality, in terms of how you perceive reality and how you just live also your normal day-to-day life. So everything gets infused with this huge light of clarity, with this beautiful sense of peacefulness and a constant sense of joy inside you. Obviously there are moments which externally are created to bring more happiness. There are moments in life which create more difficulty, more challenges. So all of that still remains. The outside world still remains as it is. But your perception of the outer world and your perception of your inner self, this is what changes. Your perception changes. And therefore even your relationship with inner and outer world changes. So your full consciousness is the most important gift. It is the biggest achievement. It is actually number one goal of your soul. So your soul has been undergoing a long process of reincarnations in order to return back to the full consciousness, because that liberates the soul, it gives freedom to the soul. So as you know, the concept of karma, I call it the concept of bringing balance, rebalancing, reharmonizing. So in the universe, there is no law of punishment or karma as we know it, but there is a law, the universal law of harmony and balance. And only through accumulated negative or distorted actions throughout the time we accumulate the negative balance, or we could say the distorted balance, and therefore our soul accumulates and keeps that balance of distortion, and it keeps on reincarnating in order to cleanse the distortions. And therefore there is no punishment but only purification and harmonizing yourself. And therefore as you come along the path of full consciousness, you start to harmonize all the parts which were not harmonious before. And this is why you achieve the state of inner peace, the emotional, mental, and psychological balance. Everything comes into a perfect equilibrium within you. And your relationship also greatly, immensely actually improves with life, with your experience of every present moment. Your relationship obviously completely changes within you, and it completely harmonizes with other people around you. The little challenge is that other people are still not conscious. So therefore, when you become fully conscious, your responsibility is to help others to become fully conscious, because others will still create some difficulties. But the good thing is that you will not be touched. You will have your inner equilibrium, and then you can gently, slowly, patiently guide others also to achieve their equilibrium. So the journey to the full consciousness is very clearly mapped out in a map of spirituality. And let's have a look.